Hey, I'm Steven, and I'm about to go see Aquaman. I will catch you after the credits.
My parents were from different worlds. And I was a product of a love that never should have been.
He could unite our worlds one day.
A son of the land and a son of the seas.
You are part of something deeper. You are the bridge between land and sea. Take your rightful place as king.
Fuck you, Pitbull. 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 I just got back from seeing Aquaman. Well, I'm in my car. But I just finished seeing Aquaman. And I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I thought it might be there's like a touch too long. It's about, I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. I think it could have been a 2-hour movie. 20 minutes, I don't know. It was fine. There was only one part, and it was just before the climax that I was starting to get just a little bit bored. But anyway, so the movie isn't an origin story. It shows briefly his like very, very minor origins. I guess it's kind of an origin story, but it's also not, because he was already in a movie, which I didn't see. I didn't see Justice League, but they make reference to it a few times, and I guess I know the story well enough, but for somebody who doesn't, a couple of the references are a little confusing and distracting, and I'm not sure if some of these characters appeared before in that movie.
I already know how to swim.
Not even close. You have to forget all the teaching of the surface world. Go deeper. Uncover your Atlantean instincts.
It starts off telling how Aquaman's Arthur's parents meet and basically why he has to go and save Atlantis, because Atlantis is gonna make war against the surface world. This movie reminds me a lot of a few different movies. Story-wise, it kind of reminds me of reverse Black Panther, where in Black Panther, Killmonger is trying to reclaim, like the villain is trying to claim Wakanda, whereas this one in Outsider is trying to claim Atlantis and you're supposed to root for him, which you do, like, fair enough. This movie is definitely a departure from the DC movies, which have been like very dark and gritty. Even Wonder Woman, which I liked, it had humor, but it was still kind of dull in color. This one is extremely vibrant. The colors in this movie are crazy, and there is a lot more emphasis on humor, and I don't think the humor works very well, but it kind of sets the tone for the movie, and I think the tone is good. Just the it's a water movie, and they make like pee jokes and things like that.
Nothing.
Of course it's not working. It's been sitting here collecting dust since before the Sahara was a desert.
Before the Sahara was a desert.
What are you doing?
We need water. Near the closest source.
Show off. I could have just peed on it.
Ha ha ha, it's not funny. Ha ha ha. But it kind of sets the tone for the movie, so some of the more ridiculous things in it you kind of just accept. I actually like the story for the most part. It starts to take on some National Treasure vibes at one point, because they're trying to find this ancient Atlantean artifact that is supposed to be, well, it's a play on the King Arthur legend. They even kind of reference that at the beginning, why they name him Arthur, and it's because Arthur's a king, and King Arthur was already a king of legend, so let's call him that. So basically, They're looking for Atlantean Excalibur, which if you know anything about sea things, it's a trident. It's a trident.
I already got one of those.
Not like this one, you don't.
Don't you forget, there's a trident in this movie. There are several tridents in this movie, and if you forget it, the movie won't let you. But like I was saying, there are some cool, like, kind of almost like national treasure things where they're going to Africa. Shut up, Pitbull! And finding these things, and then they find a new clue and go to Italy and use a thing they found in the previous place to make a map to find a new location, and that's really it, actually. There's only 2 of those things. I honestly think they could have made it more of a treasure hunt movie, and because the climax turns into, at one point it actually becomes Atlanteans versus crab people, walk like crabs, talk like people kind of thing, and then from the depths, Crabzilla appears. I'm not joking. Like, freaking Crabzilla. Like, it's like a Godzilla face and, like, crab claws and tentacles. It's basically the Kraken. And it's kind of cool, but it's kind of just like, you have to lose yourself because this movie is dumb. And I think it wants to be dumb. I really think DC is trying to pull people back in and say, hey, I know Batman vs. Superman was dark. I know Man of Steel was dark. I think Justice League, I don't know. That's the one I didn't see. I just skipped it. I wanted to see it. I just wasn't hearing great things, and I was already lukewarm on Batman vs. Superman, where I thought, like, the beginning was good, the end was okay, and the middle was complete garbage. But Wonder Woman kind of saved DC for me a little bit. I think Wonder Woman came out before Justice League, but it still didn't see Justice League. I thought it was just going to be a mess. From what I heard, it kind of was. But I think Aquaman, while I don't think it's as good of a movie as Wonder Woman was, the villains in this are at least somewhat interesting, even though Ocean Master's helmet is stupid. Comic book movies have a good track record of making their costumes actually kind of work. I think this is one of the first times in a long time that one of the big mainstream universe and capturing comic book movies has not really done justice to the costumes. Black Manta looks decent, better than he should. Aquaman's final, when he wears the orange armor at the end, it looks okay. I don't know, there's something off about it. The woman in this, maybe it's just because she looks good anyway, but her Atlantean jumpsuit thing looks pretty good, but she's fairly attractive in herself, so that could just be why. It might just be some male bias. And I've got a thing for redheads, I guess. So, and then Ocean Master's helmet was dumb. It was bad. And they made it even worse when all of a sudden, his eyes, get angry. It's when Spider-Man does that in the MCU, it's because his eyes adjust and, affect his vision. When Deadpool does it in his movies, it's because it's Deadpool, and you just gotta live with that kind of thing, because it's Deadpool. When Ocean Master does it, it's because his helmet can move, I guess? But I thought the best part of this movie was the middle, where they're treasure hunting. There's a Black Manta fight in, I think it's Sicily, but I could be wrong. It was somewhere in Italy. And it's a fun action scene. It goes on a little bit too long. There's a lot of plowing through buildings and shooting through roofs, but it's still fun to watch.
That was awesome.
The beginning is decent. Keeps your attention. It's kind of humble beginnings, more or less. Again, Justice League happened, so it's more or humble beginnings if you haven't seen it. And the end is just a huge war mess of fish people, and Crabzillas. I mean, and then the end fight between Ocean Master and Aquaman is pretty short and not really There's some cool choreography, but nothing that we didn't already see kind of in the middle. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Aquaman. Also, this movie visually, again, Atlantis reminds me if you were to take like Wakanda, put it underwater, and add like Tron lighting, and that there's like a ship, submarine, whatever they are, flight through this place, and it reminds me a lot of Tron Legacy, which came out in like 2008 or 2009 or something, so that was a while ago. Would I recommend this movie? I think so. I think it's fun. It's fun if you just want to turn your... I don't like saying turn your brain off during movies, but if you're not analyzing it too hard, it's a fun ride. It's... there's no after credit sequence. There's a mid credit sequence that, if you're really wanting to know what happens to one of the characters, it lets you know, but nothing too crazy about it. So you might as well stay. It's in the middle of the credits, and there's cinematics going on before that are fun to watch. So I would give it a go. Give it a watch if you're already watching the movie anyway. I guess I would give this movie a I don't know, like a 7. It's really hard to gauge this movie. It's dumb. It is dumb. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. So if you want a fun superhero movie that you don't have to think too hard at, and you don't expect too much out of, just, again, and I think women will like seeing Jason Momoa with his shirt off throughout the whole movie. Don't pretend like I don't know. I've admitted my thing for redheads. Mira looks good. Just gonna say it. Jason Momoa probably looks good. Not my thing, but I'll catch you next time at the movies.
I'm not a king.
Atlantis has always had a king. Now it needs something more.
But what could be greater than a king?
A hero.